Some grocery items used to be easy yeses for me until the prices got higher and the packages got smaller. So today we're looking at 10 grocery items that might not be worth your money anymore, and I'll tell you what I do instead. I'm Joy of Frugal Creative Living, and if you're trying to spend less without making life feel smaller, one of the most helpful things you can do is to stop automatically buying things that just look useful but don't actually help that much once you get them home. Some grocery items look like they're solving a problem, but then they create 3 more problems. They take up space, they only work for one recipe, they spoil before you get around to using them, or they make you feel like you bought a whole meal when in reality, you just picked up a tiny component dressed up to seem like more. I'm gonna share 10 grocery items that I would just question before putting them in the cart. Not because they're always a waste, but because they're often just low value purchases. And for each one, I'm gonna tell you why it might not be worth it anymore and when it still might make sense. Number 1 is premium salad kits that pretend to be a whole meal. I'm not talking about like a basic bag of greens that just help you add a vegetable to lunch. I'm talking about those expensive salad kits with a little bit of lettuce, 3 tablespoons of some toppings, a tiny pouch of dressing, and a price that makes you feel like there should be a personal chef hiding behind the croutons. The problem is that a lot of those kits look like a complete solution, but they're usually not enough food to be satisfying as a whole meal by themselves. By the time you add chicken and eggs, extra vegetables, fruit, bread, or whatever else you need to make it feel like dinner, that easy salad has turned into a pricey bowl of homework. And then there's the expiration situation. Those bags can go from fresh and crisp to wilted and slimy real quick. A better swap is to just create your own basic salad bag. You don't have to make it anything fancy. Just pick one sturdy green, one crunchy vegetable, a protein, and a topping that you actually like. And it could be a mix of things like romaine lettuce, carrots, leftover chicken or chickpeas, a hard-boiled egg, some seasoned sunflower seeds, a little cheese, maybe some toast, some bread, and make your own croutons. The point is to buy ingredients that can work in more than one meal, because in addition to the salad, the romaine can be put in wraps or on sandwiches. The carrots can be glazed and served as a side, or go into a stir fry, or just eaten as a snack. In my experience, those pre-made salad bags only last a few days, but the ingredients purchased fresh will last about 2 weeks. Now, when is the salad kit still worth it? If you truly eat it the day you buy it, and if it keeps you from ordering takeout, or if the dressing just gives you flavor you really enjoy and you wouldn't be able to make it yourself, then fine. Keep the salad kit. But if you're buying it because it seems healthy and then you're throwing half of it away, that's not health food. That's just compost in a branded package. Number 2 is single recipe sauces and marinades. You know what I'm talking about, the little bottles and jars and pouches that say things like skillet or simmer sauce or Korean barbecue something. Some of those are delicious. I'm definitely not against sauce. Sauce is what saves leftovers from tasting like dewy cardboard. The issue is buying a different sauce for every dinner idea. 1 bottle for chicken, 1 pouch for tacos, 1 marinade for stir fry. A smarter swap is to just keep a sauce building pantry. You really just need a few flexible ingredients that can go in different directions. So for me, staples like garlic powder, Italian seasoning, onions, seasoned salt, ginger, curry, honey or agave syrup, vinegar, and soy sauce can be pulled together in so many combinations to make a lot of simple meals taste way more interesting. You can use soy sauce as is for your stir fries, or add some ginger, agave, and garlic to make it more of a teriyaki flavor. You can mix together Italian seasoning, olive oil, garlic, and some salt to season your chicken, or then throw in some vinegar and make an Italian salad dressing or pasta dressing. Just look up the recipes for the sauces that you usually buy and then try to DIY them. The individual ingredients go much further than the one meal pouches do. Now, if there is a sauce you absolutely love and making it would require some super exotic ingredients that you really couldn't use in anything else, then buy the sauce. Just know that in general, you have some other options. Number 3 is ready to drink beverages. The bottles of iced coffee or tea or flavored sparkling waters, and one of those wellness drinks that that's made with herbs and a dream, they feel necessary sometimes. But when those drinks become a regular part of your grocery trip, your grocery budget starts working harder than it has to. The bigger issue is that drinks don't usually add much meal value. They don't become dinner. They don't stretch any leftovers. They don't help you use the chicken in the freezer. They're gone in 10 minutes, and then you still have to feed everybody. The swap doesn't have to be that you only drink tap water forever. Definitely not saying that. But instead, choose one or two drink options that you can make at home and actually enjoy, because there is nothing like a big pitcher of fresh brewed iced tea, and it costs less than $1 to make. If you like to drink a lot of iced coffee, you can try making a large batch of cold brew concentrate. And if you only add the creamer when you're ready to drink it, that black coffee lasts in the fridge for about 2 weeks. Now, if there is a special drink you truly love, like you would still buy it if it came out of your fun money or your treat stash instead of your grocery budget, then buy it sometimes and enjoy it. But just maybe don't buy it every week. But if it's not something you really take a lot of pleasure in, just leave it and choose a different option. Number 4 is fragile produce that's bought with good intentions. Nobody wants to feel bad for buying berries and herbs and tomatoes or leafy greens. We're all just trying to eat something with a vitamin in it, right? But delicate produce can be one of the fastest ways to waste grocery money when it's expensive, if it's not that flavorful, or not likely to be used in time. Out of season berries can cost a lot and still taste like they heard about flavor once but decided not to participate. Fresh herbs are wonderful, but if you only need 1 tablespoon and the rest wilts in a drawer, that little container turns into very expensive confetti. A better approach is to just buy produce based on how you're really living that week. If you need fruit that's gonna last, apples, oranges, frozen berries, canned pineapple, or whatever is actually in season and priced well is going to serve you much better. If you need vegetables that'll wait for you, cabbage, carrots, onions, potatoes, sweet potatoes, frozen broccoli, frozen spinach, canned tomatoes, those are usually much more forgiving. And with herbs, either choose one fresh herb that can show up in several meals that week, or use dried herbs, which has become my norm. And it's not that you'll never buy fresh fruits and veggies and herbs. You just don't want the food sitting around, shriveling up, waiting for you to feel inspired to do something with them. Number 5 is beef convenience cuts when cheaper proteins would do the job. Beef can be wonderful. Now, I personally am vegetarian, but my household eats beef. And some of the convenience packages have gotten harder to justify for regular meals. I'm talking about those pre-cut pepper steak or shaved steak packages, or those little trays of quick cook beef pieces that make you feel like dinner is halfway done before you even get home. And sometimes they are convenient, but a lot of the time you're just paying extra for the cutting and the packaging, the marinade, and the idea that the meal is going to be easier. But you still have to cook it. You still have to season it. You still have to make your sides. And depending on the cut, you might still have to hope that it's tender and not chewing gum adjacent. So before you buy those convenience beef cuts, ask what the meat is actually doing in the meal. If beef is the star of a special dinner, buy it intentionally and enjoy it. Like, I buy a large steak for my husband every few months. I cut it in half and then I freeze it and then I use it in 2 separate meals. But if it's going into tacos or pasta or some saucy skillet meal, you might not need the pricey beef pieces. You just need a little flavor, some texture, and enough protein to make the meal filling. Ground beef, ground turkey, chicken thighs, beans, lentils, eggs, tofu, even a smaller amount of beef just used as an accent is going to stretch much further. So for example, you can use a little sausage with some beans. You can add lentils to soup. You can use chicken thighs in a rice bowl. You can make eggs over rice, maybe have a small amount of beef with plenty of vegetables and rice and noodles or beans. So the flavor is there without the whole meal depending on expensive meat. If nobody can tell whether the beef started as steak tips or a more practical protein once it's all covered in sauce and wrapped in a tortilla, that might be a good place to protect your budget. Number 6 is boxed cereal. Now, cereal is convenient. And if you've seen any of my repurposed videos, you know In my household, we eat a lot of cereal, but some cereal boxes have gotten so small that a hungry household can empty a box before the milk even knows what happened. The problem is not the cereal itself. The problem is relying on expensive cereal or granola as the main breakfast plan when a lot of them don't actually keep anybody full on their own. If breakfast leads to another snack an hour later, the real cost isn't just the box of cereal, it's the box, the milk, the snack after the box, and the phrase, "there's nothing to eat," being said in a kitchen full of food. Now, I still buy box cereal when our favorite ones are on a really good sale. But when they're not, some better swaps are oatmeal with raisins and cinnamon, eggs with toast and fruit, or some hot water cornbread with some apples and hot tea. You can also stretch cereal by staying within the serving size instead of eating giant bowls of it, or just make it more of a treat breakfast instead of the everyday default. Number 7 is specialty healthy snacks that are really just expensive snack food and nicer clothing. You know the snacks I mean, the bags of vegetable chips and protein cookies, keto clusters, and those fancy fruit and nut bars that cost so much you think that they should be coming with an airplane ticket to somewhere special. Some of these are useful. If you have allergies, medical or travel needs, or a specific protein goal, that's a little bit different. But a lot of the specialty snacks get a free pass because they look responsible. And we think, well, it's better than regular chips, or it says protein, or it says ancient grain, so apparently my ancestors approve. But if the snack is expensive, it's not filling, and eaten just as quickly as any other snack, it might not be worth the premium price. A better swap is to build snacks from just regular groceries. Grab a sectioned bowl and add some cheese and crackers. Add some apples and peanut butter or popcorn. Grab some hummus and carrots or some nuts and raisins that you portion out at home. Even some leftovers and a tortilla with cheese will do. Whatever actually satisfies you and doesn't require you to take out a small loan just for 6 little bites. Again, keep the specialty snacks that solve a real problem. But don't let the word healthy make every little package exempt from a real budget review, because sometimes it's not a health food. Sometimes it's just a snack in yoga pants. Number 8 is tiny premium spice packets, rubs, and seasoning blends for just common meals. Seasoning is one of the best uses of grocery money because it can make low-cost food taste really good. But those tiny packets and fancy blends can get expensive if you're buying them over and over again for meals that you make all the time. Taco seasoning, ranch mix, chili seasoning, fajita seasoning, roasted potato seasoning, chicken rubs. One packet is not a disaster, but if you're buying them every week, you're paying for salt, spices, packaging, and convenience over and over again. A better system is to keep a few basic spices and make 2 or 3 house blends that you actually use. Now, I used to buy the taco seasoning packet for $1 every single week for Taco Tuesday. And then one week I forgot to buy some and I had to look up how to make my taco seasoning from scratch. It turned out I already had the ingredients to make the taco seasoning, and the batch I made covered 3 weeks of tacos. For a ranch style flavor, you can use dill, parsley, garlic powder, onion powder, salt and pepper, and a creamy base like mayonnaise or sour cream. And you can just mix these all ahead of time and keep them in jars so you still have the shortcut, because I'm not trying to take away anybody's shortcut. I love shortcuts. I just don't want to pay for the same shortcut every Tuesday for the rest of my life. Now, if a packet saves dinner on a chaotic night, use it. But if you make the same meal often, your own house blend can save money without taking flavor away. Number 9 is specialty baking ingredients for those imaginary baking projects. Many of us have done this. You see a recipe that sounds absolutely delicious, and suddenly you think you're the kind of person who makes artisan breads and fancy muffins. You buy the almond flour, the coconut flour, the special cacao powder. I don't even know how to pronounce that. The bag of specific nuts that cost you way more than you expected, but you're already too deep in. And then the ingredients sit there because you had the recipe, you had the dream, You didn't really have the time, the energy, or the occasion, or even the clean counter space to make such a thing. Those specialty baking ingredients can be expensive, and they often only work for one recipe. So the cost isn't just the money, it's also the cabinet space and that little bit of guilt you feel every time you open the pantry and see the ingredients staring back at you. A better swap is to choose baking projects from what you already have first. If you have some oats, bake some oatmeal cookies or make some granola bars. If you have a couple super ripe bananas, rescue those by making some banana bread or some muffins. If you have basic flour, sugar, eggs, and butter or oil, you probably have more options than you think. And if you really want to make that special recipe, that's fine. Just buy the specialty ingredient when the recipe is actually scheduled and the occasion is close. A good rule is don't buy ingredients for the person you hope you become by Saturday. Buy for the person you actually are this week, because she deserves a cookie too. Number 10 is bulk bargains that do not match your household's pace. And this one gets a lot of us because bulk buying looks frugal. A giant bag of this, a warehouse pack of that, a family-sized tub of who knows what, or a multi-pack of something shelf-stable, it feels like you're making a smart grown-up financial decision. And sometimes you are. But a bargain is only a bargain if you use it before it goes stale or rancid or freezer burned or just gets boring. Large bags of chips, giant containers of greens or oversized condiments and huge boxes of crackers and large packs of meat, they all can backfire if they don't match how your household actually eats. The unit price might be lower, but the real cost is higher if some of it gets wasted or if everybody eats more of it just because it's there, or if you have so much that you have to store it in different places around the house and then you lose track of what you already have and then end up buying more. A better approach is to only buy bulk when it's a proven staple, meaning you use it regularly, you can store it properly, and you already know how it fits into your meals. Rice is a great example. Oats, pasta, beans, canned tomatoes, coffee, freezer items that you truly rotate through, or basic baking items if you bake often. Those can be great bulk buys, but don't let a giant package flatter you into ignoring your real habits. Before buying the bigger size, just ask. I know I'm always telling you to ask yourself questions, but just ask yourself 3 questions. Do we already use this regularly? Do I have room to store it properly? And what are 3 ways I'll actually use this? If you can answer those, the bigger size might be worth it. But if not, the smaller package might actually be a more frugal choice for you. Now, if this list makes you look in your pantry and you realize that it has become a little museum of good intentions, just know you're not by yourself. Most grocery waste and overspending doesn't happen because we're careless. It happens simply because the grocery store is really good at selling us one little solution at a time. A salad kit solution, or a sauce and snack solution, or a this is going to make me a better version of myself solution. But real life usually needs a system more than it needs another random item. Don't ask whether a grocery item is good or bad. Ask whether it's still earning a place in your home. If the salad kit keeps you from getting takeout tonight, go grab it. It's definitely cheaper than the takeout. And if the special protein snack solves a real need, do what you got to do. Frugal living is not about removing every bit of comfort and convenience. But if something is expensive or it's single use, it's not filling, or it's just mostly a fantasy version of how you wish the week would go, give yourself permission to leave it at the store. Spend less on the things that don't really matter so you can create more room for the food, people, projects, and small pleasures that actually do. And that's why meal planning can help so much. Not a rigid plan, just a flexible one that starts with what you already have, looks at what needs to be used first, and helps you shop with a shorter, clearer list. And if you're saying to yourself, but meal planning is just so hard, check out this video right here for ways to simplify meal planning so it makes sense for you. And I'll see you next time. Bye.